come in right there. Joey. Awesome. I can't wait to read it tomorrow.
Okay. Looks like everybody has a good spot around the perimeter. Why don't we have a seat crisscross applesauce?
Love it.
So yesterday we read Cinder-Elly. You guys did a really good job listening to that book. And you know how I know you did a good job listening to that book? Because I read all of the post-it notes that you wrote while I was reading. Okay, so you were doing lots of good thinking. And so I read through the post-it notes and I put them into categories. I sorted them. And I was kind of looking for some things that some people were doing that were the same. Okay, so I was looking at the thinking you were doing, and I decided that you did about 6 main types of thinking. Is that camera on? I'm sorry, I don't know if I actually turned it on. Okay. So some of the things that more than one, maybe 2, 3, 4, even 5 people were noticing and thinking about while I was reading had to do with Cinder-Elly's feelings. Some people were empathizing. I could tell you guys were a very empathetic group. You're thinking about how sad she must feel and how disappointed she must feel at certain points in the book. You were thinking about the mom and the sisters and what kind of people they were. You were giving character traits to the mom and the sisters. You were thinking about what you learned earlier in this unit with the roles that sort of pop up in most fairy tales. What are those roles that pop up in most fairy tales and folk tales too? Yes. I want you to talk really loud so the whole class can hear.
In fairy tales, there's something happy, and it usually is something happy and something bad, and then the problem is solved.
What are the roles? What are the different characters that show up in almost every fairy tale?
Fairies and stuff like that. Magic.
Magic is an element of fairy tales. Help them out, Jaylyn.
What hero, what advisor, sidekick, and villain?
Can you say that a little clearer so everybody can hear?
Hero, villain, wide advisor, and sidekick.
Did you hear those 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hero, wise advisor,
Sidekick.
sidekick, and villain. Cool. So a few of you were noticing that this book, even though it's not exactly like the original Cinderella, still had some of those same characters. A couple people were paying attention to the new words and vocabulary that we were learning. Some people had predictions or questions. And then a lot of people were thinking about what we call author's craft. Why the author of this book, her name's Frances Minters, why she did certain things the way she did. Okay? So you were asking questions about why she wrote this book in rhyme. Why did it sound like a poem? You were asking questions and noticing that side talk that keeps popping up throughout the book. And I want to use the doc cam. If you can't see it perfectly, that's okay. But when I say the side talk that comes up in the book, if you look on the camera or on the smartboard, you can see how there's the regular text right here. It looks just like typing on a computer. But then you have this text right here where it says, "Oh, godmother, people don't write on garbage cans, do they?" So that was sort of, it didn't quite fit with the rest of the book, but it pops up on almost every page. Some kind of side text that's written differently and doesn't quite go with the rest of the text. So a lot of you asked questions about that. Why the author put that side text in. And lastly, a lot of you were asking and thinking about the changes that Frances Minters made between the original Cinderella story that took place a long time ago and this Cinderella story. And you were asking questions like, why did Cinder-Elly wear sneakers? And why is her name Cinder-Elly? and not Cinderella? And why did she go to a basketball game and not a ball? So those were some really deep questions that I think we can talk a while about today. So we are going to have a grand conversation. Have you guys tried this before as a class?
Oh, yeah.
That's our best grand conversation right up there.
That piece of paper.
Look at that web.
Oh, cool. Cool. I love it.
Chills for
Maybe Ms. Schottelmeyer will do that again for us while we're talking today. All right, I need everyone crisscross.
Do you agree?
I need everyone crisscross. And before we start, I have a few expectations that are probably similar to what Ms. Schottelmeyer tells you, but I just want you to know my expectations. Okay, first of all, we're going to be very aware of our bodies. We're going to stay crisscross, and we're going to avoid falling out into the middle of the circle or falling way far back to the edge of the circle. Yeah, I don't need you to show me what not to do. I need you to show me what to do, okay? So aware of your bodies, okay? We're going to be aware of our voices, and that means a couple of different things. That means that we're going to talk in a volume that everybody can hear, and we're going to talk clearly, okay? That also means that even though I don't want you to have to raise your hands, we're going to try that. Not raising hands, you can just talk when you have an idea and the space is open. We're going to try to pay attention to not talking too much, okay? And giving lots of people the opportunity to share. So when I say be aware of your voice, I mean be aware of your volume and be aware of how much or how little you're talking. We hope that everybody gets to share a little something during a grand conversation, but we want it to be balanced. We don't want talk hogs or talk logs. Have you guys talked about that before? Mrs. Smith didn't teach you talk hogs and talk logs.
We did talk hogs,
Okay.
but not the other one. What is
Well,
it?
a talk log is somebody that doesn't say anything ever, and it's okay if you don't have something to say every day, but I know you guys have lots of good ideas because you wrote these good Post-its, so I want you to do some amount of sharing. Maybe not today, but if not today, then in the next day or two. Okay? The other thing I want you to think about with grand conversation, so we talked about your body, we talked about your voices, now I want you to think about your ears. This is the time of day where you need to be the best listeners possible. Okay? You're going to listen so carefully to your classmates, to your friends. And I've seen you guys do this before, actually. That you can paraphrase what they just said. Thumbs up if you know what paraphrase means. Yes, ma'am.
It means you copy off what the person says, but in your own words.
Yeah. You copy or you repeat back what someone else says.
It's like an echo.
But you put it in usually you put it in your own words, so not quite like an echo. And when you're paraphrasing, you can add your own ideas too. So we're going to try to talk for a long time about some of these things and not jump from question to question to question to idea to idea to idea. We're going to try to talk long about a few ideas today. Okay? And since you guys kind of came up with lots of different things, I think maybe we can start with this side of the chart. And let's talk about why we think the author might have written this particular book in rhyme. Okay, so just think about that for a second. And if you have an idea about why an author, this author or maybe any other authors, would write a fairy tale in rhyme, go ahead and share that idea out.
Because I think that she wrote it in rhyme. He or she wrote it in rhyme to make it sound a little bit interesting and fun and funny.
Well,
Okay, who can paraphrase? What's your name? What?
Chance.
Who can paraphrase what Chance said?
I think
What did Chance say, paraphrase?
he said the author made it rhyme because so it
have anything to add to that, Ruben?
And he also wrote this book because she loves Cinderella, so she thought that she could make up her own character and write Cinderella.
What about rhyme?
Why rhyme? She wrote it in rhyme because she wanted to, and she thought it would sound neat, and maybe she wanted to so that it would just go easier. Maybe because she wanted to be different from the no louder. She probably wanted it to write it in rhyme so it was different from the original. She probably wanted to write in rhyme so it was different.
One more time, a little louder. You have a really good idea. Just say it loud.
She probably wanted to make it rhyme because for it can sound funny and maybe she likes to rhyme words. Yeah, maybe she likes rhyme words. Like sing. She probably did it in poetry.
She probably poetry. She probably wants people to laugh at her books and remember them as funny books.
So I hear a couple of ideas on the table. I hear that she wanted it to be funny. She wanted it to be more interesting.
Maybe she likes poetry.
She wanted it to be different than the original. And that she might be a fan of poetry. Okay. Can anybody talk about one of those things in a little more depth?
I think she likes poetry because she likes how it just went through really quick and easy. So she might think, oh, I really like poetry. I think I could do that too.
And I think she wants to make people laugh in the book.
Maybe she probably thinks rhyming is cool. Yeah, she thinks.
So I hear a lot of people saying funny. She wants to make. Did you guys laugh at that?
No.
Were you laughing yesterday?
No. Yeah. I didn't read the book. No.
I think there were some parts you were definitely laughing at. So do we agree? Can we agree
Yes.
that we thought that maybe this version of Cinderella was funnier than the old-fashioned version we read? Would you agree with that? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I know where she made thumbs.
Yeah, sometimes authors, they take an old story. Vanessa, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? Funnier or not as funny as the original?
Funny.
I heard that.
Some people are in the middle. I would agree, Cortland. It's pretty serious. It's not that funny. Okay, hands down.
I think it's funny. I've also heard this repeated with the three little pigs. Instead of the three little pigs, it's the three little pigs in the Tangrams, I think.
And did it rhyme?
No.
Well, I'm wondering if we can agree, yes or no,
Yeah.
that adding rhyme to a story can make it funnier, more fun to read. Can adding rhyme make it funnier and more fun to
It
read?
makes it fun to read, but I don't think it makes it funnier. I think it makes it more fun.
More, okay.
The first one doesn't make it fun. Serious.
All right, let's talk about one of your other questions. Let's talk about this one that you guys kept asking. I think it's kind of going to be connected to the rhyme idea, but why all of the side text? Why all of the comments about that girl was so good? Maybe I was wrong.
They like the side text.
Ellie's grown a bit since then. Why the comments?
I think.
Why the side text? Think about it for a second. Think about it. Think.
Because
It's sort of like
Thinking? Why would an author do that? Is that something you've ever done in your writing?
No. Did not want to be. Maybe people like maybe he wanted to add more like.
Okay, stop. I'm going to stop you guys. I'm going to ask you to be more aware of your voices because we're talking over each other. So I think one thing that'll help is getting our bodies in crisscross. And when one person starts, then that means that other people have to wait until they finish to take their turn. I know it's a really hard skill to learn in 2nd grade, and it takes practice, but you can do it.
I think that she wanted to like say more about the. I think she wanted to add detail. I think she got mad at the other author made it side text. I think maybe she likes.
Okay, let's go back to our original idea. And let's see if we can build on that. Can you repeat yourself, Cortland? And everybody else is going to listen really carefully to you so they can paraphrase.
She wanted to say more about like some of the like some of the stuff in the book.
So what did he just say?
I think.
And do you have something to say about that? If you don't, I'm going to ask you to hold your thought.
I think that she should say more about the is what Courtney's.
This is what he said. She wants to add more.
I think she wants to add more details because she wanted it to be clearer and she wanted it to make it like more fun. And fun to look at and read. Maybe people like looking at pictures and they just want to look at the pictures. Or maybe like maybe she's
Go ahead. You've been trying to share.
Maybe like she wants to tell them like if they're more like I think she put side text there because like she wanted the reader to know what she was talking about maybe or wanted them to learn something. To put side text in
It's a little bit different than the side text that we find in nonfiction books. And I think I'm going to just read a little bit more, and I want you to really think about the side text that I read and what it does in this part. So this is the beginning of the book. Ellie was good and she was pretty. She lived with her folks in New York City. And here's the side text. That girl was so good. Okay? Just listen right now. Sometimes when Ellie was washing the floor, they'd slide across it and out the door. What do you think would happen then? Why, Ellie would have to wash it again. And here's the side text. Shocking. She worked so hard, it was a pity she had no fun in New York City. Side text. Don't fret, Ellie. Things will get better soon. Sue, Ellen, Nellie, we picked your name. You've won free tickets to a basketball game. I told you things would get better. So why is the author putting in things like this?
I think something.
You started.
I think because some other books have the same thing and might be not the reader might remember the books that other readers reading.
So do you think that these little comments are sort of like something a reader might be saying and thinking?
Yeah, it's basically like somebody, it's sort of real life, and like somebody's taking a group of kids around, and they're actually watching this happen in real life, and that's basically what they're like saying.
That's interesting. Did you guys hear that? Who can paraphrase? Go ahead. If you can paraphrase, go ahead and paraphrase.
I think he said, it's like someone brought a bunch of kids around and they watched their life and them doing this, and then that's what they're saying out loud, and that's their comments. I think it's because they put the people that are the kids that are seeing stuff is, I think, like the reader is actually the reader's getting comments from the people, I think, that who read the book, and she's copying the book but putting the comments in there. So Brenda, what do you think? I think that she wrote the side text because she just wanted to. Maybe she did it so then people wouldn't just read it like in a lame voice, and when there's something to be kind of excited about. What do you think?
Maybe she's trying to influence the way we read it.
Yeah, what do you think, Berta?
What
do you think, Berta?
It's like, how shocking. They don't, it's like, how shocking. They don't just keep reading it like, I saw it across the floor.
Maybe they, what do you think, Berta? That's why they say.
I am hearing lots of voices at once.
What do you think, Berta? I think she put the side text because she wanted the reader to know what wasn't in the book that she wanted to put in. Maybe she wanted to be better than all the other books. That's right.
That kind of has to go back to what you said about the rhyme. She wanted it to be a little different, a little something special and new. Yeah, I like that idea about she's putting in comments as if we're watching this story happening and we're commenting on it. And I think those comments are pretty funny, right?
I think this one's
So she's really trying to make this book funny for us,
And
isn't she?
and really trying to make us
Rhyme
laugh.
and side talk, trying to make us laugh. All right, let's move on to this question about the original story. Why did she change so many things from the original Cinderella? And let me just look at your post-its in particular and read them so you can get your juices flowing and you can talk in detail. So some people wanted to know why she was called Ellie. Just think about it. Some people wanted to know why it took place in New York City. Some people wanted to know why she had glass sneakers instead of slippers, and why she went to the basketball game instead of the ball. Thinking. And I think those were the main questions. So think time right now. Why did the author make those particular changes?
Because she wanted to make it more interesting, because she didn't want it to be she didn't want it to be a ball this time. She wanted it to be a basketball game. It's like a ball. It's like a ball because instead of a ball, she put basketball.
Okay, I'm going to pause you guys for a minute. There are a few people that have gotten their voices out a lot. I bet Ms. Schondelmeyer is drawing lots of lines to certain people's names. So good job, and thank you for sharing your ideas. If you are a person that has shared a lot today, I want you to try to step back and be a listener and let some people who haven't gotten a chance to share today put their ideas out.
Maybe she made it different, because if she made it exactly the same as the old Cinderella, it'll just be like the old Cinderella.
Maybe
she
changed it last time. Maybe she I agree with Sierra. She wanted it to be unique, because if it wasn't unique, and it was just the same as the other ones, what's the point in
Who
reading?
wants to read a book that they already read?
Yeah.
What do you think Vanessa
boring.
did?
I didn't want to make it too fancy.
Why not? Talk more about that.
I don't think she wanted to do it very because in the first one they ended at a ball, and then I think she just wanted it to be nice.
Great.
She probably didn't want to do it so fancy because, like, she probably none of the girly things. It would be similar, or she was a cow.
What do you think?
Can you repeat that a little louder, Reese? That was interesting.
What do you think?
Probably she didn't want to make it so fancy because she is not in the girliest thing, or she's a tomboy.
Does anybody in this room think that they're not, any girls in here think that they might not be fancy and they might be more like a tomboy?
No,
Or do you know any girls like that?
I do to go to a basketball game. I disagree.
What do you think, Keon?
Jarvis, were you going to say something over there? You had started to talk earlier. Why do you think that the author made it a basketball game instead of a ball? And why did she wear sneakers instead of glass slippers? Still thinking?
If it was glass probably she wanted to make it differently.
So I'm going to ask you guys, you're the readers, right? You're the kids that she wrote this book for. So what's more like your life? The original Cinderella or this version?
The real Cinderella.
So who do you think that the author was thinking about when she was writing this book?
It's a girl.
She was talking to the readers. Can you talk more about that?
What do you think, Keon?
We're going to put our eyes on Samantha. Sabrina. I got this in the at the end. It was close.
I think that she.
You said she was thinking about the readers. Why would she think about the readers? What tells you she was thinking about the readers? Kids today.
She wanted to make it for kids.
I think she sort of made a combined for kids, boys and girls, because the basketball game was boys, and then the main character was a girl for the girls, so it basically matches both. What do you think, Keon? You haven't shared it all today.
I don't know for sure. And girls don't like basketball.
Some girls do.
I like basketball games. I like them a lot more than balls.
Okay, I like how Jalen is inviting other people into the conversation. They don't have to share, but it's still nice of him to invite people in.
Jalen, did you
We only have a minute left,
Yeah, I didn't share.
so
You should. You should.
So if you haven't gotten a chance to share an idea, if you haven't gotten to talk at all today, so there's just a few of you, and you want to,
What do you think, Andrea?
this is your time.
What do you think, Andrea?
that
Why did she change all that up?
she probably wants it to be different because if you read the same book, it will be over and over and probably boring.
So some ideas I heard, I'm going to summarize all the things that I think I heard you saying about this, is she wanted to make it appeal to boys more, and maybe that's why she put in the basketball part.
she has
What's
her
the
I also heard you guys say
Maybe
that.
she likes.
Oh, I'm talking. I also heard you guys say that she wanted it to sort of be more relevant. She wanted kids today to be able to relate, and kids today might not go to fancy balls, but they go to basketball games. And kids today might not wear glass slippers, but they wear sneakers. So I heard you guys saying that she was really thinking about the reader. You guys.
thinking about the modern What do you think, Miss
Well,
Shaker?
I think I've just witnessed a lot of smart kids around this room, and how good you are at allowing everyone else to share and listening really well and sharing and really get this story. And I think it's a lot because it is written to the reader, a child today, a kid today, and what they go through in a day. So it touched you in a way that maybe the original story wouldn't, because you can relate better to that story. And you guys picked that up, and I was so impressed.
You can paraphrase what Miss Baker
Miss
said.
Baker, I like the way you use because.
Paraphrase what Miss Baker said.
She
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jalen, because you've done such a good job of listening to other people. Go ahead and paraphrase.
She said she liked how we were listening and inviting people in, and also she said that she liked how we.
What did she say about the author?
She said she is talking to the reader about how a kid dated goes.
Yeah, about how a kid living now in today's world,
What do you think
what Cinder-Elly's story would be like for them.
What do you think, Michelle Meyer?
I think you guys nailed it.
I think you guys nailed it.
Okay.
So
I know it's hard to sit and listen and have to keep our ideas inside, but you did a pretty good job of that. And like I said, some of you did a good job of inviting other people into the conversation. Because there's always people, sometimes I'm that person, that I have something to say, but I don't always spit it out right away.
What do you think?
And you have to watch people, like, when they start to go, and that might be a sign that they have something to say, but they just haven't been able to get it out yet. So you're reading each other's signs really well. I have been telling you what I think all along, so I'm not going to say anything more about it. But did you like that activity about writing your thoughts while we were reading and then being able to come back and talk about it? I thought you did awesome with that, so I hope that you can try that again with another book.
guys, her voice is still on. I hope I see a bunch of good listeners.
Okay. So
Carpet ready,
you guys
please.
will have to try that with another book, and then I'll have to come in and see how it goes. Okay.
We
Do you
would
have
love
anything you
that.
wanted to add?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Please share
You like it?
Thank you for having me.
Can you show us
Show
the
your appreciation.
That's better than that one. That's better than that one.
Pretty good.
What does it look like?
I have it.
Okay.
Yep, thanks.
And I'm going to
better.
remind you.
Awesome. Okay,
You're gonna do the big bad.
readers.
Is it reading time?
It's great to meet you.
You too.
Thanks for sharing. That was so awesome.